where are we with this move toward not only expansion but a CFP deal being done sometime in the near future, and what would it look like?
Yeah, I like you have found it a little odd this past week of all the 16-team playoff talk. Back at spring meetings, at SEC spring meetings in Destin, actually, I had to sit down with Mark Keenum, the president of Mississippi State, who is the chair of the CFP, and he told me then, I wrote about it a little bit, that there was a 16-team.
Yeah, go ahead, Ross.
What?
I think we lost you momentarily.
Oh, I'm sorry. And, the 16-team playoff model, Mark Keenum told me then, had been discussed by the Board of Presidents. They had discussed it a little bit back in the spring, and the Board of Presidents, Paul, they're going to be a little bit more involved in this round of negotiations for the CFP expansion. I think they see that commissioners failed, right, in coming to a conclusion and agreeing. So they're going to be more involved. And there was a 16-team playoff model that was kind of talked about among the presidents. I didn't get the sense from Mark Keenum. I don't get the sense from a lot of SEC people that they believe that is the right model. I think a lot of them would tell you, the ACC and the Big Ten, and to an extent the Pac-12, all three voted, the conferences that voted against the 12-team model all had an issue with student-athlete health care and there being too many games played in a 12-team model. Well, 16 is 4 more teams and 2 more games. And so there's been a little bit of surprise that out of Big Ten Media Day, there was all of this big kind of show made out of 16 teams. A lot of head scratching down south, I think.
Okay, so Ross, we know games are being played, but what do you think ultimately is the end game?
Well, gosh, with the latest realignment, Paul, how does it impact an expansion model? Greg Sankey, I think, and he kind of took a little bit of a compromising approach, right? In the 12-team proposal, giving 6 AQs to the 6 highest ranked conference champions. Is that something that he'll continue to have going forward? He certainly has suggested publicly that he might change his stance there, and maybe we have a expansion model that is all at large. He seemed to kind of hint in that direction. A lot of people believe, hey, maybe the alliance, the 3 that voted against it, maybe they missed the chance. Specifically, the ACC and the Pac-12, did they miss their chance to vote on a model that would have AQs? That's a big question going forward, given the realignment situation and the conference structuring now in the Power 5. I think the question has to be answered: Do we even need AQs? And would the things that Greg Sankey has said publicly would seem to have me believe, at least, that maybe he won't hold the same compromising approach that he did last time around.
So on the subject of expansion, it seems like it's settled down, but it was pretty settled a month ago when explosions went off across college athletics. What are you hearing in regard to that?
Yeah, you just never know, right? And man, it's like I compare, and I think I've been on your show. It said the same thing before, but I compare the realignment silly season to coaching silly season in December and January every year. Consider everything that's reported, but believe nothing, Paul. And I think that's a situation that that we're in right now. It's hard to believe anything, and you got to watch what you believe. Even maybe some of the best reporters out there. I think we all have to watch what we report and believe, because there's so much stuff being thrown against the wall. And I seem to believe that we're in a stabilizing position right now. It feels that way, even though Kevin Warren certainly the last couple of days had left the door open on continuous expansion from the Big Ten, but I don't get that feeling from anybody else. I think there are probably two things that everybody is waiting on, even the Big Ten, and the first thing is Notre Dame, right? What's Notre Dame going to do? I think Jack Swarbrick has said publicly now a couple times they're content and they like their independence, and for now, they're going to stay independent. I'm sure, they're probably going to negotiate or try to renegotiate their deal with NBC, and if they get what they want, I would think that they'll stay independent. The second thing we should be watching is the Big 12 in the Pac-12 and what happens there. Big 12 already said they don't want a merger, so that's off the table. Will Big 12 continue to be aggressive, trying to get some Pac-12 teams over? Will they come over? I'm not so sure. And then I guess the third thing, Paul, is the ACC, right? The ACC and Pac-12. We reported about it a couple of weeks ago. There's certainly some discussions about an ACC Pac-12 partnership that involves ESPN and might benefit everybody. So those are things to watch going forward. But it does seem like from a team moving standpoint, we're stabilized a little bit.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.